Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're going to be taking a first look at a game that is currently available via a demo on Steam. The game is called Attack at Dawn North Africa. It is the first game being developed by Panzer Division Games. It is also being published by Panzer Division Games, so it's self-published. And this is a game which is going to take place in the North African campaign in World War II. I don't know a ton about it. It appears like it's going to be including a campaign. I'm not sure what exactly that all will entail. I did see an interview from the developer indicating eventually there will be a dynamic campaign, I think via like a DLC, but the initial release is probably just going to be linked to battles. So I'm curious about that. But this is basically a World War II game that takes place in the North African campaign, allowing you to fight as either the Commonwealth forces, the Desert Rats, or as the German or Italian forces in World War II in North Africa. I believe it is primarily Eastern North Africa. If we take a look here at the scenario list, first El Alamein is the only battle available in the demo, but it looks like the full game is going to go to second El Alamein. It's going to include Cairo. I assume this is a hypothetical battle for Cairo in 42. Al-Mahafa, Ghazala, Al Alamein 42, second offensive, Crusader, Cairo 41, Al Alamein 41, Battle Axe, Scorpion, Brevity, Easter battle, and Sonnenblume. The game also says it has a 2,000, I believe, kilometer long map that allows you to really use the editor in the game to fight a lot of interesting battles that you can create yourself using the map editor. Now, in the demo, we're going to be playing first El Alamein. It is taking place from, looks like, July 1st to July 6th of 1942. As an American, the month usually comes first, but I believe in like Europe and the rest of the world, the month is second, I think, because I believe El Alamein was July of 42, so that would make sense. Yeah, that's what it says here. So it gives a quick overview. Basically, this is sort of the high watermark for Erwin Rommel's Desert Corps, or Africa Corps, and he's driven the British back after a devastating victory, I believe at Mersa-Matruh, I believe it was. But essentially he flanked the British out of their positions, routed their armies, drove them back, and then he kind of runs up against two major problems. One, the British begin receiving considerable reinforcements in July of 42. They get a whole bunch of Sherman tanks, which are, contrary to many public opinions, very modern, especially in 42. I believe that happens a little bit later towards second El Alamein, but basically he's driving toward El Alamein, trying to get into Egypt, or trying to get into Alexandria or Cairo. He's already in Egypt. And the British set up a defensive line here. Now, this is where Montgomery first stops Rommel at first El Alamein and then defeats him at second El Alamein. And this is a very well-chosen battlefield because there are depressions to the south of the battlefield. So Rommel can't just easily flank the defensive position, and so he's kind of forced to go through it, unlike in many of his other victories where he goes around the Commonwealth forces and flanks them effectively. We're going to play as the Axis forces. You can see here the strength of the battle. The Axis is about 21,000 men. The Allies have 48,000, so a considerable advantage in terms of manpower for the Allies. That being said, if we look at tanks, it looks like they're about even 150 to 128. Anti-tank guns appear to favor the Axis 132 to 99. Artillery considerably favors the Allies at 360 to 144, and air power slightly favors, or I guess more than slightly, about 50% favors the Allies 360 to 216. We're going to play on normal difficulty and as the Axis. You can see we are advancing as fast as we can with all the mobile forces we could spare. The logistical lines are overstretched, and it will take some time for them to be well organized. Nevertheless, we are confident that the enemy is broken and that victory is near. The enemy has hastily organized a position on the narrow stretch of land between El Alamein and a train station and the Qatar depression on the south. Our objective is to break through and capture the key positions behind the front lines. Okay, you can see the history lesson of this game as well if you want to like read through all the details about the battle. I love the maps in this battle. All I can say is like the maps and all of the screenshots just look gorgeous. So I do love that. But let's go ahead and jump into the battle here. Now, the game supports both turn-based and a WeGo form, as well as real-time combat resolution. So I believe right now we're set to real-time, but you can change it to turn-based if you prefer as well. I'm not sure what the length of the turn-based turns are, but I do know that the game is WeGo, which I'm a big fan of. I definitely prefer WeGo to I Go, You Go, especially in operational type games. So you can see if we zoom out, we can see this is the map that we're fighting on. The forces that we have at our disposal are along the river, or I guess along the coastal road. And then we have some forces in the interior. Looks like we have some Italian forces here. The 132nd Division, I believe. The German 21st Panzer Division is in the south here. Multiple units making this up, and then we have the 15th Panzer Division a little bit further north, kind of in our center, and then the river road is the Africa Division, or the 90th, I guess 90th Lichte Africa Division. So you can see there's different unit types here. You can see this is a Panzer regiment. You can see Panzer icons on here. You've also got infantry regiments, which appear to include some anti-tank elements as well as infantry, and then you've got some kind of plain Schützen, which I don't know if those are like reserve infantry regiments or what. I guess these are Panzer Jaeger division or regiments, and these are just infantry regiments. And then you've also got artillery. Now this is using kind of NATO type counters mixed with some sprite imagery, so you kind of get both, the best of both worlds. It is like a board game where you've got sort of different items on the card which mean different things. So if we go ahead and hover over here, there's a really nice mechanic where it gives you a tooltip that'll tell you what the different numbers represent. So you can see attack soft is attack, attack hard is attack H, you've got defend, and you've got movement icons for any unit outside of artillery. So I believe the way I'm reading this here is the first number is the attack soft, the red number up above it is the attack hard, and then the black number here in the middle, I believe, is defense value, and then red is the far right icon is, I believe, the what is it? If I hover over it again, the movement icon here. So in theory, this would be a soft attack of 4, hard attack of 2, a defense of 3, and a movement of 6. I believe that's how it reads here. So you can see this Schützen infantry regiment is a flak unit, and it has a soft attack of 3 with a hard defense or hard attack of 11. I'm assuming that's because of the anti-tank guns, and then a defense of 1. I think that's how I read this. Meanwhile, if we go and we take a look at the Panzer units, they've got a soft attack of 6, but their hard attack is of 7, while they've got a defense of 6. I think that's how I'm reading that, although I'm not 100% sure. I do love the tooltips. It's really helpful that it says these things. You can see, yeah, okay. So here, if we look at the tooltip again on the lower right-hand side of the screen, ATKS soft is big. Then you can see sort of the elevated number there, the square root, if you will. Or sorry, not the square root, to the power of, in this case, 7 to the power 7. You can see that number there represents attack H. Just above these yellow numbers, it says it shows that it's to the power there, and then it shows defense and movement. So that does make sense. So again, 6 attack soft, 7 attack hard, 6 defense, 5 movement. Represented there. So we have these different units here, and they have different attributes as well. So when we click on one of these units, in addition to these attack attributes, you've got some morale scores down here. So current versus maximum morale. You've got the strength of the unit, which is the number of companies that are in the unit. So you can see this recon unit has a single company. This, I guess, flak unit looks like it has 11 guns in it. If we go to this unit here, which is a Panzer Jaeger unit, also has, looks like 1 company, I guess. And then if we take a look here, we can see down below there are fuel supply, remaining versus maximum. Fuel is spent when units move, and you get replenishment when supply trucks arrive. Not sure how frequently supply trucks arrive, if it's a daily thing. Not sure if you have to be on main roads for supply. We'd have to take a look at that. Additionally, the next one to the right is the ammo, so 8 out of 8, and then you've got the unit quality, so you can be either green, trained, veteran, or elite, and that affects max morale. It also affects the ability to fight. You've got different bases here, so this is the city of Al Ramani airfield. No airplanes are currently based out of it. Do we have any? Where are our aircraft? So we've got aircraft back here at El Daba. Doesn't look like I can use them now, but there's 2 bomber, I'm assuming squadrons based out of there. I'm guessing. And then we've got some, looks like some fuel back here. So this is, I'm assuming like a supply entry point. And then you've also got a recon squadron back here. Do we have any fighters? I don't see any other airfields around here with aircraft on them. So we might just have 2 bombers with no fighter units, which would kind of suck. I don't know, maybe fighters don't exist. This is my first time ever playing the game, guys. So this is very much a first look. Meanwhile, I don't think we can really deploy these guys at all. Like, it doesn't look like I have the option to deploy them. So this may just be sort of letting me know, you know, what I can do, or just letting me know where my troops are. You can split units there, and then you can also set HQ to a selected unit here as well. You can see it is currently July 7th, 1942. Clear weather, no rain. Wind is 3% for the week, I guess. Or I guess maybe that's 3% chance of a dust storm. And it is day 1 of 6. And so you've got the Italian division back here, the 2 German Panzer divisions, and then the coastal infantry division. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and start. Now this is real time, so right now it is playing in real time. I can pause it, which is currently paused, or I can play at times 32 or whatever speed, slow as times 4 from real time. I don't know what the length of the turns are. So if we take a look here, the objectives appear to be Al Alamein, which is currently controlled by the Allies. You can see the flag icon represents different bases that are held by different units. So obviously, you know, we're the Germans, and our goal is to overrun the British and or the Commonwealth forces, because there's Indian troops deployed at Al Alamein, I know of. I think there's also some South African troops there as well, but I could be wrong on that. But you can see here the objective is to obviously take Al Alamein. The objective is also to take Al Haman, the airfield out here, and then probably, you know, the supply point at the edge of the map. The depression to the south limits how far south we can try and move to flank the enemy. There are a couple of ridges which play a prominent role in the Battle of Al Alamein. So we can see that there are apparently enemy minefields that are surrounding Al Alamein, establishing as a defensive position. But if the enemy is bottled up in Al Alamein, there are 2 key ridges that control the ability to hold here. There's the Materia Ridge here to the west of Al Alamein, and then there's the Rustwist, I don't know how you pronounce that ridge, to the south. So these 2 ridges are key geographic terrain. There also are some other ridges further out. You know, maybe this ridge, which doesn't seem to have a name, would be useful if we were trying to stop an enemy counterattack from driving around us. Likewise, we could anchor ourselves on this ridge over here. But really, these 2 ridges seem to overlook Al Alamein itself and the roadways here. And then maybe the Alm al Hafa ridge would help us sort of prevent any kind of counterattack there. But there's these 3 ridges. These 2 main ones seem to be the most relevant for us. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I can issue orders sort of at, you know, in phases or all at once, really. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this recon vehicle, the 580th Aufklärungs recon unit here of the 90th Africa Division, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to drive these guys south toward the ridge down here. I want to take both of these ridges so I can control Al Alamein. I believe Rommel actually followed a similar strategy. So first things first, we're going to get the recon car going that way. Now, it doesn't look like there's any enemy troops in here. I'm guessing they're all behind the minefields, but we're also going to go ahead and send this infantry regiment here, and we're going to, it's strength of 2, so it's actually got a nice number of infantry troops. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to take some of our infantry units. These guys are veterans. These guys are veterans. Strength of 2, strength of 1 with 11 guns. Let's go ahead and have our anti-tank guns guard the road here from this Flak Aufklärung. We'll go ahead and have this infantry unit move south toward the ridge. We'll go ahead and have this unit also, this Panzerjäger unit, move south. And then we're going to have this artillery move in, but behind them. And then we're going to have this Panzerjäger unit as well. Maybe the flak unit is not actually anti-tank. No, it does say heavy anti-tank. Okay. And then we're going to have these guys move to this airfield. We'll decide where to deploy them from there. And we'll just keep these guys on the main roadway to hopefully lessen the consumption of supplies and other things like that. So that's what we're going to do with our 1st division up here. The Panzer Division is also going to move toward the ridge. We've got 2 Panzer divisions in the desert here. So these guys are going to move forward, and I don't really have a direction in mind. I'm just going to kind of move them all kind of where it seems to make sense. Now, fuel matters, so I don't know if like keeping them closer to roads will keep them in fuel supply better, or in better supply. I'm assuming this roadway matters, or it looks like a roadway anyway. It could be a stream, I guess. Pretty sure it's a roadway, by the way. It plugs into that road. And so we're just going to move this division down this way, keep the artillery in the rear, and then we'll move the infantry regiment here. Meanwhile, these guys are heavy anti-tank. We'll move them forward. I'm going to keep my anti-tank units kind of in the front, I think, with artillery support. And then we'll also move our recon car forward here. I'd like to keep my tanks somewhat concentrated. So you can see here we've got a Panzer regiment here. Looks like we've got 2 Panzer regiments in the entire force. We've got one for each division here. So I'm actually going to move, these guys are going to move, the Panzers are going to be on the flank here to keep these 2 units as close as possible. And then we're actually going to move this guy here and then the infantry over here. So we're going to keep the Panzer regiments concentrated so we can try and hit with some extra power. Meanwhile, I think those 2 German Panzer regiments really only represent a handful of German Panzers. I think Rommel had like 58 of German Panzers. So there's also some Italian tanks as well, which presumably are not as good. But we're going to concentrate our armor sort of at the bend of this this visibility here. So we're going to move the 132nd Division's armor forward there. They also appear to have a recon car, so we'll also deploy that forward. And then we will, I guess, keep the rest of these guys kind of... I guess I'm going to kind of keep the Italians in reserve, sort of. I don't want to get them all spread out because I'm assuming that will matter. But I also don't really know what to do with the Italians because they're generally... I mean, they are veterans, so they're not bad, I guess. But yeah. Meanwhile, we've got 2 bomber units back there. We'll let them chill. And then I'll see if I can get a recce unit. Choose a target for air reconnaissance. How do I do that? Can I... Let's check out this ridge. So we'll do that. It's on mission. And then I think we just have to play, right? Also, you apparently have these different icons down here, which is really helpful when you zoom out. You can see where the Arete division is going. You can see where the 90th is going, the 15th and the 21st. So we are keeping our divisions pretty concentrated. It'd be nice if there was like a hover over to show all of your units, but let's go ahead and unpause the game. We'll jump forward to times 16 speed. See our troops are starting to move. You can see our recon flight is up. So move at times 64 speed, move things a little bit further along. We're moving quickly along the roadway, along the water. The troops moving near the desert are presumably moving cross country or not moving as quickly. So recon flight's coming in. Can I fly another mission out of there? No. Not right now. All right, so recon flight is pushing forward here. Doesn't see anything so far. This ridge looks... Well, there's an enemy recon unit heading south. But it doesn't appear there's any enemy troops on the ridge itself. I didn't tell you to fly out that way. It does look like there's a whole bunch of enemy infantry and some artillery. Whoa, 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 whoa. Pause. All right, I don't know what my recon flight's doing. I didn't tell it to go all out that way. But this ridge appears to be empty to the north. There appears to be considerable troops, some Indian troops here, some Gurkha rifles, and the Blauch Regiment and the Royal Natal, and some anti-tank units forming up on the ridge to the south. We've also spotted a lot of Highlanders and troops in El Alamein itself. Looks like one medium regiment, which includes some artillery or anti-tank guns, and then mostly just infantry inside this minefield. But strong infantry elements on this ridge to the south of El Alamein. So taking this ridge may not be a problem. It might expose our flank, though. Where are we at in terms of our... Where are these guys aren't done moving, right? All right, So they're still moving. You can see their progress by the red icon in the movement. Meanwhile, the enemy knows where our thrust is coming from as well, because they've got a recon plane over it also. So nothing to bomb yet, I don't think. So these troops are going to take up a blocking position on this road here. This recon is going to move forward and take this ridge. Infantry will move up and hold the ridge as well. Can they not get there? All right, so we're going to adjust the 90th Division up here in the north. Get some artillery up on that ridge. Heavy AT unit will block the road. I don't think there's going to be a thrust coming out of this way. It does look like they have a armored car battalion, but I don't see sufficient enemy armor in here that there'd be a thrust going up the main roadway. So it seems likely that they're probably not a threat there. And this ridge seems mostly open, so I'm going to hold with a very small force the road to the north, and then I'm going to bring the rest of these troops onto the ridge to guard it. And then I think I'm going to swing my panzer divisions down to the south behind this ridge. So we're going to mass behind this ridge, which the 90th will help us secure. Can they not get there? Do they not have the fuel? Looks like they do. What division is this? The 15th? No. All right, so we're going to move the 15th in. Again, I'm assuming this ridge will shield us from their sight a little bit. They do have a recon car or a recon unit over us. We'll continue moving through the desert. Going to use the Italians largely as kind of a close-in reserve. We'll push with their armor units where it makes sense. Might make sense to have the Italians hold this ridge and then move the 90th down. But the Italian armor would be nice to keep close. Meanwhile, this recon unit on this ridge can oversee at least some of the troops in the El Alamein defenses. Looks like they don't have very much attacking power, level 1 for most of these units, level 2 defense, so they're not very strong units. They're mostly like fragments of bigger units. All right, let's speed things up a bit. Enemy recon aircraft is returning. Assuming the AI plays by the rules, it may not know that we're shifting the 90th south. But that's always a big assumption. If we weren't going to fight today, I wonder if staying at Bab al-Qatara might be a nice way to stay in supply. So you can switch between models and just sort of counters. I think there's a supply view as well. So I don't know what this represents. Or this, there's something of supply, but I don't know what it means. All right, looks like actually some of our infantry units are already very low on fuel. Moving across the desert is very inefficient on fuel. This unit hasn't spent any. Looks like there's 2 units here, Gurkha rifles and an Essex regiment over here. Okay. Let's deploy this recon car here. It's a slow start, but I don't want to race into anything I can't handle. Okay. Sounds like someone started shooting at someone. So a few casualties on both sides, 15 Axis and 6 Allied so far. 1 AT gun lost. Who though? I don't... Are they dropping artillery here? Why would you move in front of there? Move behind the ridge. Alright, enemy airstrike coming in. Oh shit, that's where we're taking losses on this hill. Shit. Alright, enemy is attack. Apparently there's enemy infantry on this ridge. New Zealand battalions here. To the south. So we've got two flak regiments here fighting. They both got pretty damn good soft attacks. I don't know if I can launch an artillery strike on these guys or not. Let's see if we can take out these New Zealanders to our south. I don't have my tanks in position to attack here, so I'm hoping these flak regiments are strong enough to take these guys out. Let's use our recon car here to guard their flank. Move another one of these units. Oh, this is German artillery. These guys are already firing, I think. Can any of our other artillery units reach there? We can turn on artillery strike. But I don't think they can reach. Okay. It's an even fight, if you will, in terms of one unit. Well, right now it's 3 units versus 2, but it'll be 1 versus 1. Let's move that artillery forward. I don't want to waste my fuel getting those tanks to the south. I suppose we could bring our Italian tanks south and support. That's actually Italian recon. These guys can use the road, so why don't you do that? Can they not get there? Shit, they're already out of fuel. Fucking A. My Italian tanks are already out of fuel. God damn it. Looks like the New Zealanders are fighting pretty effectively. If we take a look here, we're losing more men than they are, considerably more men. I stumbled into a battle I didn't want. Oh, the German units, their fuel is okay. Can they get behind them. I'm wondering if I can bring my recon car behind them and maybe break them by attacking from the rear. Problem is I'm not concentrating my force at all. Like currently it's just too diffused. I don't have a... There's no concentration. It's just a flat attack across the front. Hopefully these troops will remain combat effective long enough for my reserves to arrive, or these other units I've deployed to arrive. So all of the... Oh no, 2 of these units are attacking the center unit. But these guys, in theory, their flank may be in the air. Morale fair, good, good. Let's concentrate on this right unit. Enemies using air power to hit us. I don't want to waste my bombers yet on these strikes. You know, let's get our armor into position here for a lunge, if we're going to be able to make it. These guys are low on something. It looks like they're reloading. Bring our Italian artillery down here. I want to take this ridge over here, but I've got to clear these guys off first. So I'm committing my infantry in the south, and then I'm going to try and overrun this ridge with my armor. I don't think I'm really winning, though. Looks like these indicators look like we're being pushed back. These guys are low on fuel. Can you get in the fight? Can you not stack here? This green icon is getting way low, which I'm guessing means they're about to break. Yeah, they're routed. So they routed one of my units, but my Italian troops are going to push on through. Why do I need gas for just regular infantry? It doesn't even look like they have any. Fair low. So the British troops in the middle, or the New Zealanders in the middle, their morale is low. So perhaps they'll break. They've also been the ones under artillery fire. I think they're routing. So go ahead and maybe shoot artillery at them as they rout, which now allows us to concentrate our 2 regiments on the right on the enemy unit on the far right flank. We'll also try and pound these enemy troops while they're routing. Looks like our Italian units have received more fuel. So units do resupply, apparently. So far, 1 regiment on each side has been routed. Good chance of driving back this New Zealander battalion. They're disorganized and low. They're not routing anymore, so maybe they've rallied. Is there a rally command? I don't know. Okay. All right. This artillery's reloading. This Italian artillery is ready to fire. These guys are withdrawing also. So we'll fire some Italian arty on them. I'm assuming that adds to the confusion here. They're all withdrawing now. All right, let's move our troops up on this ridge. These guys are also withdrawing. Nice. Be great if my Italian armor could speed through and shoot up any disorganized New Zealanders. Let's take a look at the results now. If we take a look at the casualties have flipped. So the Axis casualties are now exceeded by the Allied casualties here, although granted they have a lot more troops than we do to fight. So they're buying time, if anything. Okay. These guys are still withdrawing south. Still says they're routed. Our own troops are routed, but they've halted, it looks like. So we're trying to attack these enemy troops that are routed. These guys have they are reloading. Looks like the 2nd King's Royal Rifle Corps is coming up from the south as reinforcements for the enemy. So we're on this ridge. We will stay here. Wonder what happens if the enemy routes into a position that I hold. Oh, they're firing artillery against my recon car. It lost half its strength. Some additional enemy reinforcements here. So the battle is expanding here on the southern ridge. I think we're shooting these guys up pretty good, though. You can see this unit has a very advanced icon on it. Does look like some enemy motor brigade units are coming up. So we've uncovered at least some enemy armor. Let's go ahead and strike that enemy armor. Okay. Let's move our armor up onto this ridge. See if we can't deal with the enemy vehicles coming up to support. Here come our strikes. This may be a waste of Stukas. I am getting fairly bogged down. It's already 3 o'clock and I haven't even begun the assault south of El Alamein yet. That morale, that was a pretty big tick on their morale right there. Just from that one strike. Looks like our attack aircraft took some damage. I don't know that they're very effective at attacking enemy infantry, maybe just armor. Alright, so our Italian armor is now going to attack this British infantry, which immediately withdrew. These guys are sure taking a long time to move 1 hex. Alright, I think it is getting late. Let's go ahead and begin shelling this position. With our artillery. So heavy bombardment, 3 units are shelling these enemy troops. going to assault them with our infantry. These guys are already routed. So we're going to try and break that first unit here with heavy artillery. We will send... I don't want to send a... Yeah. We'll try and break the enemy front with infantry first, and then we'll swing our tanks in. Okay. Looks like there's some enemy anti-tank guns in the desert over here as well. So I don't want to move my armor in the south too far forward here. It looks like they are attacking my own troops with artillery as I move across the open. So everybody's disorganized. Let's use the Italian recon units here to support the attack. Infantry against this lone enemy anti-tank gun, or I guess Royal Horse Artillery getting hit directly by infantry. Probably not good for them. All the assault in the north. Morale is dropping rapidly, 94 to 125. Enemy morale still looks good. We are not doing a good job of breaking through here. All these enemy are being driven back easily. So the attack in the south, the counterattack in the south by the New Zealanders looks like it was pretty effectively stopped. At least for now. Meanwhile, our attack in the north can't get off the goddamn ground. We're not making any progress assaulting this ridge. Okay. We used up our ammo there for that unit. These guys are reloading. Man, they're shelling my infantry there and hurting them a bit. These guys are getting close to routing, it looks like. Second Rifle Brigade of the 7th Motorized and 2nd Kings are both doing a good job against this 15th Schulzen Regiment. Yeah, we're getting toasted. Fuck it, send the armor in. Let's also see about getting some air power back in here. So one of our bombers was damaged. Break these guys. Okay. Enemy armor. Not sure what I want to do here. What's the results look like now? Casualties still favoring us a little bit, but our percentages are higher. Swinging behind the ridge with armor seems like a sound strategy, but if they've got armor just waiting there... Let's see what the hell is out there. These guys look like maybe they've routed, I think, one of these units already. My armor's going to swing up and try and overrun the enemy infantry. There's a whole bunch of enemy armor down here. Can I disengage these guys and fight the enemy armor with my anti-tank guns? I don't know if that would be wise. All right, their morale is low now that our armor is in play. And they're getting hit from 3 sides. They routed that battalion, huh? How did these guys not defeat enemy artillery? Did our airstrike get back yet? It's starting to get dark. So they're going to wreck my armored cars. But you'd think we might overwhelm this infantry. I hit them pretty hard with artillery. Got no more ammo. And I think that's the end of the day. So it looks like some reinforcements have arrived. So we've got some Italian infantry arriving on the roadway. Those could be useful. Enemy behind El Alamein has largely remained stationary. My air power, I'm hoping, is replenished. And yeah, I think it wasn't a terrible first day. I mean, we wrecked that New Zealand unit pretty effectively. We have lost about even casualties with the enemy, which is not ideal. The enemy's lost 1 tank. We've lost 3 enemy AT guns, 11 of ours. I need to see better how to use my armor. I assumed maybe we would overrun this Essex regiment here on the flank with concentration of force all around them, but they seem to be holding pretty effectively. Meanwhile, we've got the 4th County London Yeomanry tanks moving in here, and my own tanks are it's a one-on-one in terms of units. I'd rather have concentration of force, but I don't. I don't know if my artillery gets more ammo. I'm assuming they do. But they've used their artillery pretty effectively to disorganize my own attacks. I need to move more of these troops up from this covering ridge to support the attack on the ridge here. And I need to use my anti-tank guns more cleverly dealing with the enemy armor. Especially this armor on the ground that's not elevated at all. But yeah, that's my first look at Attack at Dawn, North Africa, an upcoming real-time or turn-based World War II game that takes place in North Africa, being developed by Panzer Division Games, and pretty interesting. I think we'll play through the rest of the scenario. Not today. We've been going for over 30 minutes, so I think we'll go ahead and wrap up this episode. Let's go ahead and save this battle, and we will move forward with our next video. Let me know your guys' thoughts if this is something that looks interesting to you guys. I know it's not as visually stimulating as something like Distant Worlds, but it is an interesting looking World War II game. Sometimes it's a little difficult to tell how things are going, but that seems appropriate. You know, you don't always know if you're winning until things become a little more clear. This feels a little bit like the historical battle. The Germans overran the Indian brigade on this ridge, a couple of hexes in. They kind of got like halfway down the ridge, and then they got stopped, and it turned into a stalemate. I don't know if there was the fighting in the south with the New Zealanders. I didn't know they were there, to be honest. I think we did a pretty good job of wrecking the New Zealanders. We've really struggled with dealing with these Indian troops. It looks like there's a British infantry regiment in there as well, or a company or a battalion or something. It looks like there's an Indian brigade and then also a British brigade, as far as I can tell. The 18th Indian Brigade, and I'm not sure. The 1st South African Brigade's over here. 22nd Armored Brigade is coming up as well, so we're going to have to deal with that. But we'll see how things play out in the next video. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out. And also, before we wrap, maybe we'll stream this. Let me know if you want to see this on my Twitch channel tonight. I think I'm going to stream. I haven't streamed much recently, but I think I am going to stream on my Twitch channel, so there's a link in the description if you want to follow that. But let me know if that's something you'd enjoy watching or not. But yeah, until next time, guys, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.